Hey guys, today we're going to move on to section 4.3. I know these notes look a little bit different. It's just because they're not in a PowerPoint, but they're still good notes. All right, so we're going to start with the triangle sum theorem. The triangle sum theorem. So remember, sum means adding. What are we adding? Well, the angles. It says the angles of a triangle should add up to 180. The sum of the angle measures of a triangle is 180. So if you see here, 62 plus 73 plus 45 should equal 180. And that's the triangle sum theorem. To be honest, you probably already knew it. You just didn't know it was called the triangle sum theorem. There's also a corollary that follows, and it says the acute angles of a right triangle are complementary. There's a lot of vocab here. Complementary means add up to 90. Well, let's use what we just learned. If it's a right triangle, that means you have a right angle. So we have 180 degrees, and a right angle means subtract out 90. That means you're left with 90 degrees. So yes, these two leftover angles should add up to 90 because 90 and 90 make 180. So they just kind of put the vocabulary spin on it, right? The other two angles are complementary. Yes, they should add up to 90. Okay. So let's try it. Find the measure of angle A, B, C. A, B, C. Is this angle hanging out right here? So I'm going to look at this triangle, the triangle ABC. All right, here's your triangle right here. We know the angle should add up to 180. So take 180 and we're going to subtract 84 and 49. Oops, 49. Those are the two angles that are right there. So again, we took the 180 degrees in a triangle and we subtracted the two angles that we had. So we got 47 degrees. All right, so that means this angle down here is 47 degrees. Now for the next one, I'm going to go ahead and change color so that way it stands out. We want angle CAD. CAD is this angle hanging out up here. Now notice this is a triangle, but they only give us one angle. So we're probably not going to be able to use this right away. But we can use some other stuff in our picture. We know these two angles right here form a linear pair. So I can do 180 minus 84. Sorry, my pen's not working. There it goes. And you can find out that this angle right here is 96 degrees. So you might have to do a little, some stuff that we've done before, right? Don't forget linear pairs. Don't forget vertical angles are equal. Don't forget the stuff we've already done. And once you've done that, then you can say, okay, a triangle adds up to 180. Subtract out the 46 and the 96 that we already have. So 180 minus 46 and 96. And we're left with 38. So that means this little angle is 38. Now, again, there's lots of ways you can go about any triangle. There's actually 3 triangles in this picture. All 3 of them, the angles should add up to 180. You might say, Ms. Blake, where's the third? That whole triangle is the third. Triangle ABD. So you can actually kind of check yourself a little bit if you want to make sure. Angle D, 46, plus 47, plus angle A, which is all of this, 38 and 49, should all add up to 180. All right, so you can always check yourself. Moving on, let me go back to blue. So you can also use it with some algebra here. Again, looks pretty intimidating, but we know the angles of a triangle should add up to equal 180. So it's going to be quite a long one. 7x minus 13 plus 2x plus 2 plus 4x plus 9 has to equal 180. The 3 angles should add up to equal 180. And then we have a lot of combining like terms here. We got 7 plus 2 plus 4, so 13x. And then we have negative 13 plus 2 plus 9, so negative 2. And then still equals to 180. So we're going to add 2 to both sides. And then we're going to divide both sides by 13. So we have 182 divided by 13, and we get 14. So what is the value of x? X is 14. And then this one says, what's the measure of each angle? That means you're going to have to go in and plug it in. Unfortunately, they are all different here, so we've got to plug it into each of them. So let's start here, 2 times 14 plus 2, so we got 28 plus 2 is 38 degrees. 4 times 14 plus 9, so we got 4 times 14, which is 56, plus 9 is 65. And then last but not least, we have 7 times 14 minus 13. So 7 times 14 minus 13 gives me 85. So we're just going to answer this one in the actual picture. Now you can again go back and check yourself. I already see a mistake I made. We're going to come back here. I don't know where I got 38. 2 times 14 is 28 plus 2. I think I did plus 10. Is 30. My bad. But again, you can go back and check yourself and make sure that they all add up to 180. So if you do 85 plus 65 plus 30, you should get 180, and you do. So I would have caught that, hopefully. My bad. Sorry about that, guys. Next one. So this is using that corollary that if you have a 90-degree angle, the other two angles should be complementary. They should add up to 90. So you can kind of shortcut it. Instead of saying 180 minus 90 minus 41, we could just say 90 minus 41. We know these two have to add up to 90. And it looks like you'll get 49 degrees. All right, same concept here. You can just do, because it's a right triangle, you can just say 90 minus 50.2. All right. And again, that's just that corollary that we talked about up top. So we got 39. 20. Now here's what they're building you up to. Is, sometimes it's not as easy to see. Again, you've already dealt with 90 degrees. Now you want to find that missing one. It's going to be 90 minus the angle you already have. And as ugly as that looks, that is the measure of angle W. If this was 10, it'd be 90 minus 10, it'd be 80. All right, moving on. So we're going to talk about exterior angles. Now, an exterior angle is formed by one side of the triangle and the extension of the adjacent side. So here's the side of the triangle, and here's the extension. So there's your there's your exterior angle, exterior outside. But again, it's just an extension. Now you have your exterior angle, and then notice there's 3 interior. So there's one that's right next door to it, and then there's 2 that's away from it. Those are called your remote interior. So remote means away from. Right? Think about a remote control. It's so you can control the TV when you're away from it. So remote is away from. So they're away from that exterior angle. So the reason we need to know that vocab is because of the exterior angle theorem. So the exterior angle theorem says that the exterior angle is actually the sum of the 2 remote interior. So angle 1 and angle 2, if you add those together, should be the same as angle 4. Let's see that in play before we do the third angles theorem. So we'll come back to this one. So here's what they're talking about. If we want to find angle G, right? Angle F and angle G are the remote interior, right? They're away from it. So they should add up to equal 111. So 60 plus measure of angle G should equal 111. So we just have to subtract 60, and we get that the measure of angle G equals 111 minus 60. Now, if you don't know the y, now is a good time where we can talk about the y. Let's pretend we didn't learn this stuff, right? We didn't know it, and we got this picture. Well, we could say, hey, this is a linear pair. So we could say 180 minus 111, right? 180 minus 111. And you don't have to write this part down. And you get that this one's 69 degrees. And then you could say, hey, this is a triangle, 180 minus 69 minus 60, and you'll still get that this one's 51. So even if you didn't have today's stuff, you could still use it. But we're going to use exterior angles theorem just because we're learning it. So here's 68. These two angles should add up to equal 68. So 3x plus 4x plus 5, the two remote interior, should equal the exterior. We're going to combine some like terms here. 3x's and 4x's make 7x's. And we're going to subtract 5 from both sides, so 68 minus 5 gets me 63. And then we're going to divide both sides by 7, and we get x is 9. Now be careful, they did not ask me for x. They asked me for angle D. So angle D is right here. So we're going to do 4 times 9 plus 5. So we've got 4 times 9, which is 36, plus 5 gets me 41. Oops. So that's your exterior angles theorem. Now, third angles theorem basically says if two angles are congruent, so notice 2 and 5 are the same, and then 3 and 6 are the same, then you know that 1 and 4 have to be the same as well. Okay, it makes sense with numbers sometimes. So let's say we had 60 degrees and 40 degrees, right? These two add up to 100. This one would have to be 80. These two add up to 100. This one would have to be 80. So that's why it happens. But let's use it. So notice here, P and L are congruent, N and K are congruent, so you know Q and M are congruent. So 6x plus 10 has to equal 7x minus 2. We're going to subtract 6x from both sides, oops, and equals x minus 2. We're going to add 2 to both sides, and we get x is 12. Now they did ask you for M and Q, doesn't matter where you plug it in, so let's plug it in for M. So we got 6 times 12 plus 10. So we did 6 times 12 is 72 plus 10 is 82. And you should get the same thing if you plug in here. 7 times 12 is 84 minus 2 is 82. So that's the measure of both of them is 82 degrees. Last one, R is congruent to T, so 3x has to equal 2x plus 11. We're going to subtract 2 x's. I'm trying to speed up so I don't run out of time. And just plug it in. 3 times 11 is 33 degrees. Even if you did it here, 2 times 11 is 22, plus 11 is 33. All right, make sure you show all of your work and get your homework done. Bye, guys.